Hey there, thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. We are going to talk about something that arrived in the post yesterday. Yes, it is here. Blake 7, The Collection, Series 2, or Series B as it should be called, because each of the Blake 7 series were A, B, C and D. Anyway, this is of course a follow-up to last year's Series 1, which I previously did a video on, and I'm very pleased to say that obviously the sales for Series 1 justified a Series 2, and now we've got to hope that we get Series 3 and ultimately of course Series 4, because essentially these discs have enhanced special effects and they have a lot of very special features on them as well. Series 2, as with Series 1, all 4 series of Blake 7 have 13 episodes, newly restored for Blu-ray, packed with special features including new documentaries and rare archival treats. So we've got updated special effects on all 13 episodes, and these effects are using real physical models. So they actually built a Liberator model, and it goes without saying, and I've said this before, the Liberator is without exception, and I include the original Starship Enterprise and the refit here, the Liberator is without a doubt the most beautiful starship in any science fiction creation ever. Archival documentary, the previously unreleased making of Blake 7 Part 2, featuring extensive interviews with cast and crew. I think, don't quote me, but I think my friend Kevin Davies had something to do with that. New feature-length documentary, a look back at the making of the second series. In Conversation, Matthew Sweet interviews actor Brian Croucher, who played Travis. We have a different Travis in this story, in this series. Stephen Greif either didn't want to or couldn't return for Series 2, so we have 2 different Travis. Travi? Yeah. And designer Roger Murray Leach. Jacqueline Pearce tribute, a look at the life and career of the iconic Servalan actress. David Jackson tribute, friends and colleagues remember David Jackson, who played Gan. New audio commentaries, rare convention footage, previously unreleased panels with the cast and crew, archive treats, HD photo galleries, DVD content. So there was some time ago they released each series on DVD, and then they released a big box set of all 4. DVD content, featurettes, audio commentaries and more, written archive, production paperwork, scripts and much more available for the first time. So let's have a quick look and then I'll briefly talk to you about Series 2. There is our beautiful ship, the Liberator. Now in here we have, it's the first time of me opening this actually, we have 6 Blu-ray discs with the sort of portraits of the crew behind that one. And what's in the back? Just the Blake 7 logo, the original Blake 7 logo. So a lovely little box there, and we also have a booklet talking about Series 2. There's the Dome City where Blake started this journey. Pressure Point, welcome to Series 2. Talks about the special features and what is on each disc. Some lovely photos of the Liberator, HD photo gallery. I'm about to sneeze, excuse me. I could cut that out by the video, but I'm not going to. I'm defying expectations. Some about the development and the production. Obviously some shots here from Series 2, and then reception and aftermath. Now, let me talk to you about Series 2 of Blake 7, give you a little overview. There's going to be a few spoilers here, so if you haven't seen Series 2 of Blake 7, I would please urge you to go and buy this, because I want Series 3. Series 3 is my favourite of Blake 7, and I want Series 4, because Series 4 has the most shocking ending of any television series ever. And I'm not just saying sci-fi, any television series. So, spoilers coming up. In the first episode, Redemption, So if you recall, at the end of series 1 of Blake 7, we had the episode Aurak, where they acquired the supercomputer Aurak, who is capable of hacking into any computer with a Tariel cell. And the Tariel cells are kind of basically like the Intel sort of CPUs of today. Every computer's got one pretty much. Anyway, Aurak predicted the destruction of what appeared to be the Liberator. And in the first episode, Redemption, we have the original owners of the Liberator, or as they call it, DSV-2, Deep Space Vehicle 2. They attempt to recover the Liberator. I won't go into details of how that goes down, but it ends with a spaceship blowing up, and it ain't the Liberator. We then have the episode Shadow, which kind of sort of explores the seedy underside of drugs and the underworld in the Blake 7 galaxy, where you discover that essentially they're both two sides of the same coin. The underworld and the drug empire is essentially run by the Federation. We have Weapon, which I believe is where, essentially we have the creator of a weapon is hiding out, and both Servalan and the Liberator crew are looking for it. We have Horizon, perhaps one of the weaker episodes. The Liberator is following a Federation cargo ship out to what seems to be nowhere, and it's the furthest flung planet that the Federation has reached, which they've codenamed Horizon, and they are sort of basically controlling the king of that particular planet for their own ends. We then have Pressure Point. Now, Pressure Point, it does two things. First of all, it opens up an entire mini sort of saga of Blake, who is by this point becoming increasingly fanatical in his fight against the Federation. And we're now blurring the line between freedom fighter and terrorist. Blake wants to find the computer that controls the Federation, and he believes it to be on Earth. And so he launches an infiltration effort to get to this computer. And as I say, there's some debate here as to Blake's ultimate motives, and because by destroying this computer, and this is discussed later on in the final episode as well, the thousands of planets and billions of people are going to be thrown into turmoil, and there will be mass destruction everywhere. But Blake considers it. He considers that the ends justify the means. Anyway, here is a major spoiler. We lose a member of the crew. So unlike Doctor Who, which was largely seen to be sort of, we have lost companions before, but only one at this point, the point this was shown in Doctor Who, but we actually lose a member of the Liberator crew. And unlike other episodic serials, there is an impact later on throughout further episodes. I won't tell you which member of the crew dies. You probably know already if you're a Blake 7 fan. But essentially, a member of the crew dies during the attack on the computer complex, which is revealed, in fact, to be a decoy. It is completely empty. Blake believes that the computer complex is on Earth because he has been led to believe that it is on Earth. In fact, it is somewhere else entirely, and literally no one knows where it is, apart from the people who work there, who are restricted from staying there. So we lose a member of the crew, and this immediate repercussions happen in the next episode, Trial, where Blake actually begins to doubt his own leadership of the team, and ends up mounting a sort of revenge attack on Federation Space Command, which is really cool. We then have the episode Killer, and I'm trying to remember what that one's about. Is that the one with the psycho? I can't remember now. Do you know, I've completely lost track of what episode that is. Not a very memorable one anyway. We have the episode Hostage, I believe, where we are introduced to a relative of Blake's. We have the episode Countdown, where there is an independent revolution happening on a planet, but the Federation have sabotaged the planet, and basically they have a doomsday bomb which will destroy the planet if they don't sort of check in regularly. And the fact that they're being overthrown means that Avon has to engage with a previous what should we say? Someone he's met before. I won't go into details, but there's a kind of a long-running thread with Avon and his prior life before he joined the Liberator crew, and we kind of start to get some backstory into Avon's kind of motivations. Voice from the Past, I think that one is Blake being manipulated. Don't remember a lot about that one. And then we kind of have like the final 3 episodes are kind of going into this, this long-running story again of Blake trying to find Federation control. We've got Gambit, the Keeper, and then eventually the final episode, Star One. Now, Star One is the Federation's computer control complex. It's out at the edge of the galaxy, orbiting a small star. And it's been hidden from everybody. Anybody who had any knowledge of where it is, or even Star One's existence, was killed by the Federation to keep it a secret. Blake manages to find it anyway. And ultimately, the cliffhanger at Series 2 is Blake is torn between destroying Star One, which is what he ultimately wants to do, but then realizing that there is something much, much bigger going on. And that thing that is much bigger is that there are aliens from another galaxy invading the Milky Way, coming from Andromeda. And Blake has to decide whether to destroy Star One and destroy the Federation, or to defend the Federation and thus the rest of the galaxy against alien invasion. And that's how that particular series ends. An interesting episode as well, Star One, because it's the final episode where we have Blake as a main character. Yes, this is a common sort of cliche. For the last 2 series of Blake 7, Series 3 and 4, or Series C and D as they should be called, Blake was not a main character in it anymore. He was gone. He does reappear, but that is a massive spoiler. So anyway, that is Series 2. Very pleased to see it out. Can't wait for Series 3 and Series 4. I'm going to be watching this over the next week. But whilst I'm here, if you are interested in Blake 7 and you would like some sort of supporting material, first of all, I'll start with a book that I mentioned last year, which is the Blake 7 Production Diary, Series B, by Jonathan Helm, designed by Graham Robertson. This is a very thick book, quite expensive, but this is an absolutely perfect companion to Series 2 on Blu-ray. Absolutely brilliant. Some beautiful photographs, some really interesting behind the scenes kind of, details, deleted scenes, production records, recording dates, all that kind of thing. I know they're working on Series C. I suspect that will be out. That'll be out in time for Series 3 on DVD, on the Blu-ray, right? So that'll be good. But yes, this is an excellent companion if you can still get hold of it. In addition to which, and this is available on Amazon, and I'm not sponsored by any of these people, on a slightly lighter tone, we have the Blake 7 Series 2 guide by Adrian Sherlock. He also has a book he's got Series 1, 2, 3 and 14 combined in one book. And again, kind of talks about, we've got cast lists in here, we've got discussions of each of the episodes, talking about the 2 Travises, kind of Aurak's assessment of each episode, if you like. Very much lighter in tone, but interesting as a good starting point. And then we also have, this is an older book, the book Liberation, by a friend of mine, Alan Stevens and Fiona Moore, the official and unauthorized guide to Blake 7. This is very detailed. They also wrote a similar book about The Prisoner, and they've done other books as well. But essentially, this is kind of a bit more in depth about each episode. This does every single episode of Blake 7. So this is all 4 series. So obviously we've got Redemption here, and we've got UK transmission times, viewing figures, chart positions, writer, director, cast, uncredited cast, a synopsis, and then a discussion. And this is quite sort of in-depth, discussing kind of the political sort of background of Blake 7 in its fictional galaxy as things occur, because in Blake 7 you explicitly see some things happen, and then you have to infer, it's implied that other things have happened in between episodes, and there is actually an arc throughout the entire series. And Blake 7 was very much kind of the first sort of proper episodic sci-fi series, in that there was an arc and that prior episodes had a direct effect on later episodes, rather than many series pressing the reset button after every episode. So I am a big fan of Blake 7. It is, after Doctor Who, my second favourite sci-fi series of all time. This has just come out. This was $39.99 on Amazon. I would urge you to go and buy it, please, because I want the sales to be good enough for Series 3, and ultimately I want Series 4. I have all of these on DVD multiple times over, of course, but the remastered effects on these are absolutely astonishing. And the love and the care that's gone into the creation of these box sets, it's very much akin to the Doctor Who Blu-ray sort of box sets that we've been getting over the last sort of 10 years or so. This is a real proper labour of love. The only slight criticism I would have is that I think the covers are too similar. Don't you think? Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Total Ramblings. Please go and buy Blake 7 Series 2 on Blu-ray, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.